Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are here for another video in my collection series. I did already go through like my face-based products, so foundation, concealer, powder, primer, the works. I will link that here if you want to check that out today. Today we are still talking complexion. We are going to dive into my bronzers, my blushes, and my highlighters. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so here is a look at my blush, bronzer, and highlighter collection. We have bronzers, blushes, followed by highlighters. So I'm just gonna run through, I'm gonna show you what I have in each category. We will not be swatching or anything like this. We're just gonna be taking a look at my collection. So let's dive in. This could very well be the oldest product in my collection. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow Face Sculpt and Highlight. I have had this for years, well before I had children. My best friend Smags got this for me. You can see you have the sculpt side right here, followed by the highlight. I love the sculpt side. You can see here, I mean, there is a large dip in it, but I think it's kind of time for it to be done. You can see the ridges. The product is not performing as well as it used to. This, sadly, you know, was my favorite, not really contour because it wasn't super cool tone, but like neutral bronzer that I would kind of use to sculpt my face out. I wasn't a huge fan of the highlight. I didn't use it a ton. It was much more subtle, so I prefer more of a blinding highlight, which is why I didn't love it, but I have loved this product for so long, and yeah, unfortunately, this is not a declutter, by the way, but unfortunately, I don't think this will be in my collection much longer. Speaking of Charlotte Tilbury, we will just go with my next Charlotte Tilbury product. This one is the Airbrush Bronzer in the shade 2 Medium. This is the matte bronzer. I love this thing. I use it all of the time, and I don't know if you can tell, it's starting to get a little bit of a dip in there, but yeah, there's no pan or anything, which honestly, I mean, it's so thin that I feel like there should be. I definitely have friends who have pan in this product, but sometimes when you have so many, it doesn't happen that quickly, but I really do enjoy this bronzer. I think that it's a good one. It's a little bit warmer than the Sculpt shade, but still works great for my fair skin. I also have this bronzer right here by Sigma. This is also their matte bronzer in the shade Medium. I really like this one. It's definitely very pigmented. I also feel like it pulls a little bit warm on me, so I use this as a bronzer shade, not really to contour, but just to kind of give some life to the cheeks. But I am definitely a fan of the Sigma powder products. You'll see a few more in here. I am an affiliate with Sigma. My code is just KBella if you ever want to try it out, but I definitely recommend the bronzer. This is a good one. One that I haven't used in a while that I should probably pull out here is the Christian Dior, the Dior Forever 05 Warm Bronze. This is the natural bronzer. This one I feel like was super popular, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. I don't know if you can tell, I have hard pan on here. And with this one I find that no matter what brush I use, whether or not I use it with a cream product, I still have hard pan, and I've heard that from several people. So this is not a favorite bronzer of mine. I feel like it looked nice on my skin, but I just feel like I have to work to build it up a little bit more in the whole hard pan situation. This is another one. Again, this is not a declutter, okay? This is not a declutter, but I don't think this is going to be in my collection too much longer, if I'm just being perfectly honest. Then I have, this is my newest bronzer, the Pat McGrath. She just released her bronzer shades. I have the shade Nude Honey. I do really enjoy the Pat McGrath powder products. The blushes are maybe my absolute favorite. They're definitely some of my favorite. I wouldn't say that the bronzer is a tippy top favorite, but I do feel like the Nude Honey shade is the perfect shade for me. This is a matte bronzer. I do like the color that it gives to my skin, but I find that I'm reaching for my Charlotte Tilbury over this one, so I should pull this one out again and give it a little bit more love. I do have two cream bronzers. I am not a huge fan of cream products, which is why I only have two and I will not be purchasing anymore. This one is from Rare Beauty. You can see here, I mean, you can definitely twist it up, twist it down. This is it all the way down. You can see I still have a dome. I don't reach for this a ton. This is the shade Happy Soul. I don't like cream products. So I'm saying I don't reach for this a ton, but it's still in my collection. So that says something. This one and the NARS are still in my collection. The others have been decluttered. I even had the Charlotte Tilbury one and got rid of that. I will no longer purchase cream products because for me it just feels like an extra step. But I have this one and the NARS and I use them both. So I like them well enough to keep them and to use them. This is the NARS Laguna 02 bronzer. This one I feel like pulls a little bit warm on me. Lauren May Beauty talked about this one. She told me that it's a favorite for her. She uses the shade 01. I probably could have gone with 01, but it looked a little bit light and I do like a little bit of a deeper contour. But again, this is not a contour shade. I just said a deeper contour, but this is definitely a bronze. It pulls a little bit warm on me. It's an extra step because I go in with a cream and then a powder. But those are all of my bronzers. So now we're going to move into blushes. One of the blushes that I love and I can't get enough of is this Gucci blush. Bougie, I know, 05 Rosy Beige. I love this one. I think I got it last year and I have used it a ton since then. It's just a beautiful, like, this is my type of shade, a beautiful like rosy mauve shade. So really, really love this one. I also really love the Buxom. This is the Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush in the shade Seychelles. That's a mouthful. Say that 10 times fast. I've had this one for a while. I picked it up during one of the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sales and it doesn't look like much in the pan, honestly, but on my skin, it has a satin glow to it, no specks of glitter, no like bright shimmer, but it has a subtle glow and I have dry skin, so I really, really like that. And it is definitely a mauve shade with a ton of pigment. You would not expect that looking at it, but it does have a ton of pigment. This blush is not my favorite, and honestly, I thought I decluttered it, but I guess I didn't. This is the Patrick Ta She's Blushing. The reason why it's not my favorite is because I'm not into creams, okay? I think the powder blush is great. It's definitely very pigmented. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. I need to reach into this again. I haven't tried it in a while. Patrick says that you should go in with the powder, follow it up with the cream. The cream does give it a little bit of a glossy look, but again, then I'm doing an extra step. So I typically just reach into the powder with that one. I'm going to try and save my Pat McGrath for last. So we have this Kaleidos blush here. I don't remember the name of this collection, but this is the shade Joyride. The names are not on the back, unfortunately. They came out with several blushes. I wanted to try them. I went with Joyride. It's definitely more of like a peachy nude shade, and this one does have a ton of pigment to it. I love the packaging, and it's super cute with a mirror in there. I also really enjoy this Laura Mercier blush in the shade Chai. This is one that I heard, I want to say it was Charlotte Holdcroft and Morgan Turner were talking about these blushes, so I finally got my hands on it. Chai is another one where it doesn't look like much, right? Like it's pretty light. It's a matte, like it doesn't look like much, but on the cheeks, this is so beautiful. It gives me nice pigmentation. It has much more of like a nude, maybe like a pinky nude type of shade, and it just makes it just makes my cheeks look nice and healthy. So I do really, really enjoy that one. Perhaps one of the older blushes in my collection is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. It is the Cheek to Chic in the shade Pillow Talk. I love this one. This one does have a sheen to it. I just mix the two colors together. I like to use this with like a big fat fluffy brush and just kind of swirl it all around and put it on my cheeks. So definitely enjoy that one. One of my newer blushes is this one right here from Dior. This is the one that went viral. It is their Dior Backstage Rosy Glow in 001 Pink. I honestly probably would not have gotten this one. Oh my gosh, I can't open it. I'm like struggling to open it here. I probably would not have gotten this one if I purchased it after they released their new shades. I probably would have tried one of their newer shades, but I got this beforehand. So it was this one or like the coral shade, and I went with the bright pink. And you know what? There is a time and place for it. I like it because it's different in my collection, but it is a cool tone pink shade. So I mean, it looks like bubblegum pink when I put it on my cheeks, but it's, you know, it's nice to have around. I have a couple Sigma blushes. This one right here is in Sunset Kiss. This one is more of almost like a peachy vibe to it. I like the Sigma blushes. I don't think they're my favorite. I like them. This one is in Berry Love. They are super pigmented, so again, I like to go in with a fluffy brush and just kind of tap into it. This one is more pink than the other one. Let's look at them side by side. So here you can see one is more of a peachy vibe, one is more of a pink vibe. They are both matte. I would like to try there's like a tiger something shade that has a sheen. I would like to try that. I do have one cream blush here. It's from Westman Atelier, super bougie. It's in the shade Coquette, or I don't know how you say it. Anyway, I did a video this year where I reached out to my girlfriends and I asked for their favorite product, and I asked Simbri from Simbri Thinks what her favorite blush was, and she said this one. It's a cream. I feel like when I used it, it worked out nicely and it was a beautiful color, but honestly, I probably need to try it again. And I mean, it was expensive, so there's that. Now I think we are on to the Pat McGrath. So I have some single blushes. This one is in Nymphette. This is the one that I had first. It's just a very light pink shade. This one I feel like gives me a little bit of a sheen. I don't know if it's marketed as a matte or not, but this one gives me a little bit of a sheen. It's like my perfect mauve shade. These are buildable, so you can go in with a light hand and have a light application, or kind of keep dipping back in and build it up, which is what I really, really like about it. The one that I've been using a ton lately is this one, Nude Venus 2. I think it was like a holiday collection. This one is similar. It gives me a nice sheen to the cheeks, but this one has a little bit more of a nude kind of undertone to it, whereas Nymphette was a little bit more pink. Then I have this trio right here. This is the Divine Blush and Glow Trio in Galactic Sun. So we're going to have Divine Rose, Desert Orchid, and Golden Nectar on the end. I am not a fan of the Golden Nectar, I will say that. I just utilize these two blushes. I really, really love this like rosy shade when I'm going for like a mauve look. This is a great nude shade, super duper pigmented. I like to use these with my my Sigma brush. It's this one right here, the Sigma F40 Large Angled Contour. I like to use that as my blush brush, so definitely reach into that one a ton. Like I said, not a huge fan of the Pat McGrath highlighters, but I do have a few, right? So this highlighter is Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter in Lunar Nude. This one's a bit deep for me, so here's the deal with this one. I want to say it came out for holiday 2 years ago, and it was like a $60 highlighter, and I was like, it's beautiful, but I'm not going to get it. Okay, sorry, my daughter walked in, so I don't know exactly where I stopped, but I think I was talking about how this is a $60 highlighter, but it went on sale for $30, so I was tempted to get it. It is a little bit deep for me. This one is not quite as glittery as like the one that's in that palette back there, which I don't like glitter, okay? I want a sheen. I want it to look like I'm glowing. I want it to be very pigmented, but I don't want it to be glittery. So this is not glittery, but it is a little bit deep for me. I do also have one right over here. This one works better for my skin tone. This is in Lunar Allure. This one is a little bit lighter, and again, this one does not have like the glitteriness that the one in my palette does. So I do really enjoy this one. It is lighter on me. When I reach for a Pat McGrath highlighter, this is the one I'm reaching for. Hey guys, I'm jumping in from a different day because I actually left out some palettes. I had some face palettes in a different area, so I thought I would jump in real quickly and show you these before we wrap up the video. I am also filming on a different day, and I've been a little under the weather. If I sound a little bit different, please forgive me. First up, I had this Benefit Cheek Stars Reunion Tour. I purchased this face palette. I don't typically purchase a ton of the face palettes from Benefit, but I purchased this for a couple reasons. One, I wanted Hoola back in my life, the Hoola bronzer. I've had that before and I really do enjoy it. But I also wanted the Dallas blush. I had the Dallas blush years ago. I ended up decluttering it and I regretted that decision. Now this Dallas I think has been reformulated. It's definitely not the same one that I had before, but I still like it well enough. I do use Georgia and Sugar Bomb. Those were new to me, but I also wanted to try the Cookie Highlighter. And so the combination of wanting 3 of these products out of this palette made me purchase it. Now I often forget about this. I really do need to bring it out and use it because I feel like I haven't used it in a while, but it's a good one. My friend Emily from Emily's Makeup Bag sent me the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism Blush. When Manny came out with his Nude Prism collection, I purchased the palette and I was torn about the blush. I said I wanted to try his blushes out, but I wasn't sure if I wanted the Mood Prism, which was a little bit more neutral, or the Nude Prism. Then my friend Emily reached out to me and said that she had this palette and she wasn't using it, so she sent it my way, which I thought was super duper sweet of her. I have reached into this, but I do find that I don't typically reach into face palettes a ton. I much prefer a single over a palette. However, I do really like this shade right here. I like this shade right here. Oftentimes I'll do a little mixing and matching, use one of the darker shades with one of the lighter shades on top, or mixing these two together. I haven't reached into this one a ton, but I'm happy to have this in my collection. Again, I don't reach for face palettes as often as I should. This Tarte palette was a holiday collection. This is the Precious Gems. I want to say maybe it was, I don't think it was last year's, maybe it was 2 years ago, but I had been wanting to try the Park Avenue Princess bronzer, so this bronzer is in here. It is a little bit more of a shimmery bronzer, and then it's been a while since I've tried the Tarte blushes, but I thought that it was nice to get like a Tarte blush palette in here. I really enjoyed this shade right here. I liked this one here. I used this one a bit. I didn't reach for these ones very often, but again, I need to pull this out. I have not used it in a while. A palette that I have gotten a ton of use out of is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Pillow Talk Beautifying Face Palette. Smegs got this for me for Christmas or my birthday one year. I don't remember which, but I use this one a ton. The blushes are beautiful. I really like both of the blushes. I use this one more than this one, and I really do like this pinky highlight. I don't use the champagne highlight a ton. I do use it, but I much prefer the pinky highlight, which was surprising to me. I thought that I would like the more champagne one, but this is a beautiful palette that I have gotten a ton of use out of. Recently, Sigma sent me their Beauty and the Beast collection, which I was super shocked and excited about. And in the Beauty and the Beast collection was this face palette right here. Let me make sure I pull out this, like, look at this. Beautiful plastic insert, but this has 2 blushes and then a highlighter. The highlight is a tiny bit deep for me in Lumiere, but it still works. These blushes are beautiful. This one looks to be more matte, something sweet than Beauty Within, but they're both super duper pigmented, so really enjoying this palette. I was so shocked when I got the PR from Sigma and the Beauty and the Beast collection because I don't get a ton of their new releases. But the star of the show right here, this highlighter face duo is what made me realize that I was missing some palettes, because I filmed my video and then at the end I was watching my friend Heather Austin's like face collection, and she started with this palette here, which is her highlighter duo with Unearthly Cosmetics, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have that. Where is it? Why did I not have this in my video? And so thank you, Heather, for reminding me that I had palettes elsewhere. This one I actually keep out on display with her Resurgence palette on my bookshelf over this way, but these other palettes were in a drawer over here. The Beauty and the Beast was over here with Resurgence, but this highlighter duo is beautiful. I really like mixing these 2 shades together to get like a pinky type of highlight. Rebirth is stunning on my skin. If you have deep skin, I think Renewal would be beautiful on you. This highlighter is definitely a BAM in your face highlighter. I love it so much, and I'm so proud of my friend Heather and Unearthly for creating this. Okay, I had to switch sides, so if the sound changed or anything, I apologize. But next up is my Rare Beauty. This is my newest highlighter to my collection. It is this one right here. Sorry while I try and get the focus correct. It's a little bit difficult being on this side of the camera for some reason, but I got the shade Mesmerize. So this is the like rose gold shade, and I wanted to try out their highlighters because they released last year and a year later, people are still talking about them. During the Sephora VIB sale, I decided to pick it up and I wanted to get the rose gold shade just because I feel like I have so many of the champagne shades. I mean, so many people talk about the champagne shade being amazing, and I'm sure it is, but you know, I wanted to get something different. Speaking of champagne shades, I have this highlighter from Jaclyn Cosmetics. It's in the shade Iced and it's a mini. I definitely recommend if you are someone who has more than one highlighter in your collection, or if you plan to have more than one highlighter, I recommend getting a mini when you can. This definitely reminds me of the Becca Cosmetics formula. It is very blinding, no chunks of glitter. I don't reach for this one a ton, but I do enjoy having it in my collection. Then there's this one from REM Beauty. That video that I was talking about where I asked my friends to tell me their favorite makeup products, Angie told me that she really liked these REM highlighters. This is in the Miss Mercury shade. This one is maybe a little bit deeper than I would have liked, but it does give me a beautiful sheen on the face, very pigmented without being like chunks of glitter. So I appreciate that one. This is technically a highlighter. It's Flexitarian from ColourPop, but I don't use this to highlight my cheeks. I use it as an inner corner highlight, but I thought that I would throw it in here since it's in my collection and over here. So then I have this one from Unearthly Cosmetics. I got this one at the Creators and Friends Retreat in Charleston, and I had 4 of them, but I chose just to keep one, and this is the one Spellbinding, and I chose to keep this one because it's unique in my collection. So it does have a shift. It's a little green, a little purple. You know, I don't know that you can see much of anything there, but I decided to keep this one because it's different, it's fun. You never know when you're going to want like a different and fun highlighter in your collection. I don't really know why I keep it in the box. That's not really something that I do, but I do. The highlighter that I can't get enough of lately is this one from Sigma, and it's in the shade Twilight. This one, it's so unique. It's not champagne, it's not pink, it's not rose gold. You can see that I use it a ton. I have been reaching for it so much lately. It looks so good on my skin. I want to look like a vampire from Twilight, glowing from within, and I definitely do with this shade right here. And then I saved, last but not least, perhaps the best for last, and it's the Natasha Denona Super Glow in the shade Fair. I have used this one a ton. There is a pretty large dip in it, but no pan yet. This is a favorite for me. This is definitely, this one and the Sigma are my 2 top favorites, but I don't know that you can get this one anymore. I saw that Natasha Denona was having a sale, and then I don't see them on Sephora, so perhaps you can get it on her site. She does that from time to time where something is no longer available, but it's still on her site. Either way, it's beautiful. I love this shade. It's a favorite. But as you can see, that is it for my collection of bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. I just love face products. I love this category here, so I would love to know down below. Give me your like favorite bronzer, blush, and highlighter of the moment. Okay, if I had to pick, I would go with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Matte. The blush that I've been using the most has been the Pat McGrath from the Holiday Nude Venus, and I've been using my Sigma highlighter the most. So that's what I'm going to say. Let me know down below what you've been using the most of bronzer, blush, and highlighter wise, and make sure you're subscribed because we are going to do lip products and eyeshadow palettes. But that's it for this one. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.